I'm not the one who, Rufai, I'm not the one who made the accusation.
No. But
Alhaji has said to his lawyer, to ICPC, that if the
Kevin, you're here to speak.
That is why we are saying Malami should be released. Because if Yahya Bello is free and walking the streets today...
Because he's still in the APC.
Because he's still in the APC, like Adam Soshomole said.
He was my friend, my compatriot, my partner.
Is he the only one who wants a good life for his family? What about the cleaner, the teacher, the market woman, the civil servant scraping for money?
This particular video have been trending, and I decided to bring it to you guys, between Dangote and engineer Farouk Ahmed. I stumbled across this video and I'm asking, why is nobody talking about it? And I want you guys to watch how Rise TV News interviewed the representative from Dangote, and we'll be right back.
Now, the devil is in the details. You know that the respondent has a right of self-defense. He has issued a short statement saying he's ready, let them investigate. So, yeah, you are right, the burden of proof is on the person who alleges. But what if it comes up tomorrow and he says, you cannot trace that this money for the payment of my school fees came from NMDPRA? Because you have to show evidence in that regard. What if he comes and he says, oh, my wife is a businesswoman. It's our money that we have been using to send these children to school. What if he says, oh, I have family inheritance. I may be a public servant. So this money came from family inheritance. In fact, you may even discover that the money was never paid directly by him. But what we can establish is that this is a conflict between industry and the regulator, which is a major problem in Nigeria. There are substantial issues. Can you talk about those substantial issues? About importation of fuel, about quality of fuel, about regulatory compliance, about the powers of the regulator.
Okay, so Dr. Batif, I'll answer the first question you asked. Whoever in his family, either his father or his sister or his wife, that claims that they must have sponsored the children in Switzerland to that tune, that clearly doesn't match up with his income as a public servant in Nigeria, they have to show the Nigerian government, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, their tax returns. Show us your tax returns. What business did you do? What industry do you own? The family inheritance that, for example, the rumors indicate that, might have been the source of the funds. What business did the progenitor do to make the money, and where are the tax returns of that business to make the money, so that it's not unexplained wealth that we cannot say where the money didn't fall from the sky. If anybody says that, I have XYZ, I have this financial capacity, the first indication to verify that they have that financial capacity normally in a functional society is their tax returns. You have to show your tax returns. Where are your tax returns to the government? Because if you're not paying tax, you're evading tax, that's a crime on its own. So if any member of his family claims that they sponsored the education of the children in Switzerland, let them show the Nigerian government, FIRS, their tax returns to verify the business they did to earn the money to pay $7 million for tuition.
Okay.
Let them show their tax returns. Where are their tax returns?
All right, Kelvin, I understand, and in the interest in the interest of the public, as the statement signed by Alhaji Dangote himself, the advertorial, he had mentioned that Nigerians deserve to know the sources of the sums of money paid, and I do agree with that. However, as Dr. Bati mentioned, there are background issues. It's not just because all of a sudden Alhaji Dangote wants to become, the watchdog of public office holders in Nigeria by exposing the fact that they are spending more than they earn. In the event that, investigations happen, he's found, culpable and taken out of that position, would that solve the challenge, the underlying issue around this regulatory industry impasse? Because what we're looking for is a long-term solution. Not just for one man, to be castigated and taken out. It is, how do we solve the challenges? Would Engineer Farouk Ahmed being out of the picture solve the problem?
Ayo, very good question you asked. Last year, when a license to operate was given to Dangote, Farouk came out hastily and said that Dangote was producing diesel that had 500 ppm sulfur, which was false, because the Dangote refinery has one of the most sophisticated lab for testing all the other metrics, distillation, sulfur, motor octane number, flash point, cloud point, and the rest of them. Okay? He, as the authority chief executive, since that refinery started operations last year, has not visited the refinery. But when NNPC claimed that Warri was working in December, he flew to Warri, held the bottle and said that it was working. When in fact, NNPC deceived Nigerians and the president. And those government-owned refineries are shut down. Now, what are the issues? Within the last 30 days, right, Farouk has granted import licenses to bring in products of about averagely of 50 million liters per day. 50 million liters per day. About 1.8 billion liters of product worth $1.6 billion has been brought into Nigeria within the last 30 days. Number one, does Nmdpra have a lab to test the products coming into Nigeria? Knowing fully well that sections 317.11 of PIA specifies the sulfur limits. The test results that are being banded as certificate of quality, if you subject it to a forensic audit, will this show that those test certificates are true and real and the quality of products brought into Nigeria meets up with regulatory standard, considering that the quality of product determines price? Because a 500 ppm sulfur product is not the same with a 50 ppm sulfur product. Dangote is following PIA. Last year, samples from petrol that was imported into Nigeria was taken randomly from two companies, two filling stations. I won't mention their names. And when the results came out, it was shown that products brought into Nigeria, one of them had sulfur level of over 1,700 ppm. Another one had sulfur level of over 2,500 ppm. Regulatory limits, according to ECOWAS standards that Nigeria abides by, is 50 ppm. So why will you hold Dangote to PIA and then completely refuse to hold the marketers to the standard, considering that the quality of the product determines the price? Number two, Russia has been sanctioned. Russia is under an oil price cap of $45 a barrel. Marketers, Nigerian traders, in collaboration with international traders, they go and buy mazout condensates in Primorsk and Novorossiysk. They go to Kazakhstan, buy crude, they refine to naphtha. Naphtha is the base compound for refining PMS. You cannot consume naphtha as petrol. Then they come to Lomé, they transship it through a shadow fleet, they blend it. As we speak, and I'm saying this, you can quote me anywhere, there's a 2 million metric ton floating storage and offloading vessel in Lomé, Togo, that can hold 2.6 billion liters of petrol and diesel at every single time. Why is Togo determining our energy security? And why is Nigeria, as a signatory to international law, violating international law by saying that it's going to violate the sanctions that have been placed on Russia when they are buying crude oil at a $20 discount to what Dangote is buying?
Kevin. Okay. You've made most of these arguments, but all I want to see is the bank transaction indicating the payment of Mr. Farouk to these schools. Do you by any chance have it in Switzerland? And the date of payments?
I'm not the one who, Rufai, I'm not the one who made the accusation.
No. But
Alhaji has said to his lawyer, to ICPC, that if the court...
Kevin, you're here to speak for the Dangote Group. You speak in defense of the Dangote Group. So if somebody made an accusation, we want empirical evidence. All I'm just asking is, do you have the bank transaction of this to the schools listed, La Rose and a couple of other schools, in favor of the Farouk kids and the dates these transactions were made?
Rufai, when the matter gets to court and the court requests for evidence, the parties will produce evidence in discovery to the court.
Can you confirm to me if the parties have that evidence?
Alhaji has said through his lawyer to ICPC that if they need him to produce evidence, he will bring evidence. So let us wait for him to bring evidence to ICPC.
But you do not have the evidence as we speak. So if you do not have the evidence...
Rufai, as I said, I'm not the one...
Kevin.
I'm not the petitioner. I'm not the petitioner.
Kevin, you are not the petitioner, but you are here to speak in favor of the petitioner. That's why you're here. You're speaking for the Dangote Group, pure and simple, Kevin. But you do not have that
because
evidence.
His interest is the interest of Nigerians.
No, this is your own interest, Kevin. All right? But you are here to speak in favor of the Dangote Group. So you do not have that evidence. As long as you don't have that evidence, you can also espouse this talk about corruption. If you had the evidence, we'll have talked to facts. So I don't think there's any question to ask you. I'm done, Kevin.
Okay, Calvin. What do you think of the ICPC saying, we're going to investigate this? Because you sound like the outcome of the investigation is predetermined. What if the ICPC comes and it says, we don't think Farouk Ahmed has a case to answer? Then what next?
Dr. Abati, I'm not holding my breath, like I said. I cited the fact that despite the fact that $3 billion of Nigeria's hard-earned money that was borrowed from Afro-Exim, by the way, right? And crude oil was paid in exchange.
No. That's not a related case. What we have before us is a Whistleblowers Act. And then the state agencies have the right to investigate. It's on the basis of investigation and its outcome that they will prosecute. Just deal with the matter at hand. Don't say another matter, this and that. No, that's not how to read issues legally.
Dr. Abati, is there political will in Nigeria to fight corruption? Is there political will to fight corruption? That's the question I want to ask. Is there political will in Nigeria to fight corruption in Nigeria today? Is there political will to fight corruption? Are the anti-corruption agencies in Nigeria truly independent? Is there political will to fight corruption? Because if there was political will to fight corruption, right, NNPC's former management and board should be answering questions at EFCC today for how they wasted $3 billion and those refineries are shut down. Is there political will to fight corruption? Why is EFCC not saying anything about $3 billion that was wasted of Nigeria's money? Why are they not saying anything about it?
Okay.
So is there political will to fight corruption in this country?
Okay.
Now you watch the Arise TV news. Let's also watch what Osigwe Omo from Bunch Radio, what he said. We'll be right back.
Dangote versus Farouk. When a billionaire teaches Nigerians how to fight corruption. You see, there are moments in a democracy when the air shifts, when the familiar silence to the oppressed suddenly cracks like dry Amatan wood. This week, that crack came from an unexpected corner. Africa's richest man. Dangote did what the ordinary Nigerian has been too exhausted, too bullied, or too hopeless to do. He petitioned. He named names. He demanded accountability. He stood in the open square and said, this man is living far above his means. Investigate him. That is patriotism wrapped in courage, not the flag-waving type, but the kind carved from truth and civic duty. And suddenly, democracy felt alive again. Because democracy is not built on elections. It is built on citizens who speak up when power behaves like a spoiled child in a grocery store. The allegations against Ahmed Farouk, the NMDPRA boss, are not mere whispers. They are a thunderstorm of numbers so loud they shake the windows. Over $5 million on secondary school education for 4 children in Switzerland. Another $2 million on their tertiary education. One child at Harvard with expenses touching $210,000 in a single year. Nothing wrong with educating your children, but every problem in the world when your entire adult life has been funded by the Nigerian taxpayer. If the figures are true, then Farouk didn't just cross the line. He treated the Nigerian treasury like his personal ATM. And for what? So his children can live the fantasy life that millions of parents in his home state of Sokoto cannot even dream of, as they struggle to pay 10,000 naira school fees. Is he the only Nigerian with children? Is he the only one who wants a good life for his family? What about the cleaner, the teacher, the market woman, the civil servant scraping for money? Farouk didn't simply overspend. He allegedly did so as a public officer with a salary structure that cannot hold the weight of this luxury, even in imagination. This is the insult. That is the audacity. That is why Dangote's petition lands like a sledgehammer on marble. Now stop shouting presidency. Look around you. Every time Nigerian citizens complain, they aim for Aso Rock as if the presidency is Father Christmas of problems. But look at the ledger. Your local government gets nothing less than 420 million a month, with many getting an average of 650 million. Yet your roads looks like broken shock sticks. Your primary schools resemble abandoned chicken sheds. Your health centers are cemeteries for expired drugs. Where's the money? Your House of Assembly members who once move around with modest dignity now fly around like peacocks with new money. Your reps and senators grow wealthier in one term than your community has in 2 decades. Your governors mutate into billionaires faster than your town can repair a borehole. But every time something goes wrong, Nigerians turn and shout presidency. Meanwhile, the people directly handling your allocations are dancing horizontal on your future. Dangote has shown the way. Petition, demand, hold them to fire. This is how democracy grows, not by noise, but by action. Not by vague accusations on social media, but by petitions backed with evidence. Not by blaming Abuja for everything, but by scrutinizing the leaders sitting 5 minutes from your house. Dangote has given Nigerians the blueprint. See corruption, document it. See excess, report it. See abuse of office, drag it into daylight. Patriotism isn't dying for Nigeria. It's demanding that Nigerians stop letting people kill its potential. Dangote has shown us the model, not silence, not fear, not helplessness, but a citizen that speaks, petitions, and demands answers, whether the suspect is a councillor or a multi-billionaire regulator. As long as people in charge of our treasury can allegedly treat public funds like pocket money, this country will continue walking barefoot on broken glass. This is Truth Unveiled. My name is Osigomo Ikiroda, and I'm the principal and CEO of Bush Radio Academy.
Now you have watched every video, so it is time for us to also now talk about who is Farouk Ahmed. And Farouk Ahmed, according to our funding, is the pioneer and serving chief executive officers of the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, an institution that is in charge with the responsibility oversight of the midstream and downstream petroleum operation in Nigeria. And this man is accused of corruption again. We have seen a lot, and this one is not different from the same story of the people they have put in managing Nigerian petroleum, and even those that they are put to investigate. All of them seems to be more and over corrupt. Remember, somebody said that the cabals in Nigeria petroleum are much more than any other cartel cabals in the entire world. Now, let's talk about this reality. Everybody have him their opinion, everybody have said all kinds of things, but we all know that jealousy can also make Dangote to do this, because Dangote always want to be the monopoly, the only person that is running whatever things that he's doing. He don't like competitor, but that would not still take the fact that even if we know that this is jealousy that is making him to be doing all of this, but is he accusing him wrongly? We don't know. I think the court prove otherwise. You see the way Rufai Oseni were asking the representative from Dangote questions, and you see the way they are raised TV. Not that they don't know the basic facts. The reason they are asking or targeting that guy like that is because they know that Dangote on his own is trying to be the sole provider of this petroleum. He wants to be in charge so that he can control everything. Look at what he's doing with the cement factory. He's making it look obvious that he's fighting for the common just of Nigeria, but we all know that he's just doing all of this because Nigeria is not giving him the privilege to control the oil sectors. So we don't know what's going on, but we follow up this case, and we shouldn't just look at this only. Every corrupted leaders in Nigeria should be dealt with, starting from the former Kogi State Governor Yaya Bello and the rest that are surrounding the president currently. All of them need to be investigated fully to the depth of it, and they will be brought to book. But unfortunately, once you are in APC, your sins are forgiven. This man is in APC. We know that this case will be swept under carpet. We all know that definitely, no matter what they're going to do, as long that is with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there's nothing you or me or anybody can do. Everybody keep on shouting, but at the end of the day, those that are under their canopy, what Tinubu is fighting for right now is that they want one Nigeria. I stumbled across this particular video, and I want you guys to watch.
He was my friend, my compatriot, my partner. And I stand here not just, excuse me, as president, but as a brother, friend, and political partner who shared a journey with President Buhari throughout challenging times. Together we built a broad coalition, campaigned across the country, and proved that Nigeria could chart a new course. Our movement united diverse interests and achieved an historic victory in 2015 by unseating an incumbent president, thus reshaping Nigeria's political landscape. The coalition we built in 2014 is now the fastest growing political party in Africa today. And that growth continues. The book reinforces the public's memory. It outlines achievements and flaws, as all honest histories should do.
How would the president of a country open his mouth to say something like this? But it is what it is. You heard from your president, you see how he plans to become president, and his own mind towards other people right now is how to win the 2027, and he wants to make sure that he make Nigeria one party state. That is his goal, so that he can remain in office like those Africa countries. So me, I know what his plan was. So anyway, peace out.
That is why we are saying Malami should be released, because if Yahya Bello is free and walking the streets today,
because he's still in the APC.
Because he's still in the APC, like Adam Soshomole said during the time of Buhari, that if you are in the APC, I mean, you can do no wrong if you leave the PDP and you come to the APC. You can be, you are forgiven. That is the incubation period of this kind of impunity we are seeing today. So there is no literature on the surface of the earth that can change the reality of the ground. That the government is using the EFCC to harass the people. That the government has made the EFCC to be an institution, an instrument of coercion and harassment and intimidation of political opposition. And give me tomorrow a minister, a high-profile government official, a high-profile party official of the APC that is in the same cell with Malami, I will change the conversation.